All right, it is Monday, July 13th. I'm here with the lovely, the talented, the brilliant Sunny Hostin. Hello, Sunny.
Hi, Brian.
All right, we are back behind the table. What people like about Behind the Table, I think, is that they get to see different aspects of all the hosts. And because all of you are so different and I have different relationships with all of you,
Yes.
the vibe is different on every show.
Yes.
One of the things, I have things in common with different hosts in different ways.
Yes.
One of the things you and I have in common is that we are fiercely competitive. I
Yes,
think that's true.
correct.
We want to win. We're excited.
Yes.
And speaking of
We
which,
don't want to cheat, but we want to win.
we want to win. We want to win. We want to be recognized
Yes.
for what we deserve. We want our
Correct.
flowers when they're deserved.
We do.
Speaking of which, tonight around 7 or 7:30, they are announcing some Emmy Award nominations.
Are they?
They are. They're announcing for Best Show and they're announcing for Best Host. Now, we've won both of those awards in the past. You've not yet won as Best Host, although I believe you've deserved it. All of you have deserved it.
Yes. I've been on this show for 10 years and I have not. I've won 6 Emmys, but none for this show.
None for The View, which is ridiculous. Tonight, so we're going to find out. Last year, we were nominated for Best Show, but not Best Host. A travesty.
Yes.
How would you have the Best Show without having the Best Host?
Correct.
Makes no sense. But I feel like...
Do you feel good
I feel
about
good.
it?
I feel good. I don't want to jinx us, but I feel confident. I feel like we deserve it, and we've worked really hard. And really, it's important for me to honor the people that work so hard on this show.
Yes.
You guys as hosts, for sure.
But we have like 200 people that work on this show, and people don't realize what it takes to put on a show like this every single day.
No, so it means a lot to me to, in addition to my own desperate need for validation, I like to see the people around me be recognized for all the great work they do.
I agree with that.
So fingers crossed around 7:30, you'll get a text from me saying something good or something bad happened.
I know.
All right. So, and if not, I have my Webby.
You do.
I have my Webby. There it is. So there we go. All right. Let's talk about something serious or more serious.
Okay.
Something you said last week on the show got a lot of attention. What else is new? But it was about the American flag. And this is something that you've said before more than once, but a couple years ago you talked about it.
I've said it many times.
But it seems to get people, they get very animated.
See, that's the thing.
This.
I don't read social media
Thank God.
comments.
Yes.
As you know, I stopped years ago.
Yes.
And that's why I'm just so happy and peaceful most of the time. And so it's surprising to me it's a thing.
Let's take a listen to what it is that you said when we were talking about this.
There are times when I walk into a community and I see American flags all over the community, and I suddenly feel unsafe because there is a section of this country that has co-opted the American flag, and they equate being an American or an American flag with white supremacy, and that should never be the symbol of white supremacy, but they have weaponized.
Because the flag belongs to all of us.
It does belong to all of us.
So
I stand by that.
Yeah, and it's something you've said and been very consistent about, and I've heard it from other people of color for sure.
Well, I was going to say what's interesting is that this is not a new conversation amongst the Black community. In the Black community, it's something that we talk about. It's there was a point when, and I think I've talked about it on the show. I was visiting friends in North Carolina in the Outer Banks. And they rented a house there, and they had been there many times, a white couple, and on the beach, it's a beach that you can drive cars on. I was walking with the kids, they were pretty young, and there was a Confederate flag. And I was nervous. I'm in the South. I've got these 2 kids with me. I look the way that I look, and I'm walking past a Confederate flag with a group of dudes in a pickup truck on the beach. And I scurried back to the house and I said to the hosts, "Do you know that there's a Confederate flag out there?" It didn't feel great. And they had seen the flag for years, but it didn't have the same effect on them as it would have on me. And they said they were sorry. It's not their fault, but they didn't realize that I would get a reaction from that,
I grew up watching the Dukes of Hazzard and looking at the General Lee and never thinking twice about it.
The Confederate flag would mean something. Somebody with the Confederate flag today means something different to a Black person, perhaps, than it means to a white person. So I use that as an example. I have military people that are in my family that have served Vietnam War, served in Afghanistan, have many, many military members in my family. They have flags outside of their homes. I don't feel uncomfortable with that. I have a flag keychain. My point is, when you go into a community that's not a military community, it's not a military base, but it is a community with flags everywhere. Unfortunately, at this point in our country, the American flag has been co-opted by the far right, patriot. They call themselves patriots, people that stormed the Capitol with Confederate flags and American flags, and now and they've weaponized the American flag. That is something that is happening in this country, and to deny that, is ridiculous to me.
And what I've seen is talk about co-opting. People have co-opted what you said and tried to manipulate it, in the idea that you hate the American flag.
Of course not.
No, of course. I mean,
of course not.
No, it's just you hate.
I have an American flag in my home. I'm saying that, unfortunately, at this time, the American flag has been co-opted by the far right, many in the far right, and white supremacists.
So we were just talking about this off camera, there are now movements to take the flag back, basically, to have people.
Which would be great,
Yes.
because the bottom line is, I don't think that the people that stormed the Capitol are patriots. I don't think the January 6ers are patriots. I don't think so. And I think that people that, fought for civil rights, I think people that want this country to live up to its ideals, and that fight for that, those people are patriots. And we should be able, and I consider myself one of those people. And I would be very happy to be part of a take the flag back, reclaim the American flag as a symbol of what it should be, which is, I think, justice, which I think is freedom. I think it's equality. It's sort of this...
The promise of what it was supposed to be.
The promise of this country.
Absolutely.
Right? And so I don't know if they still do the Pledge of Allegiance
Sure.
in schools, but that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that's not what I see often. I see something different.
Speaking of things that do not go as promised in this country, I want to talk about this tragic story of Nolan Wells.
Oh, yeah.
He's the 18-year-old Mississippi football player that died last weekend or almost 2 weeks ago now?
Almost 2 weeks.
Following an all-day party
July 4th.
on Horn Island off the coast of Ocean Springs, which I'm not familiar with. Civil rights attorney Ben Crump is now representing his parents. We're starting to find out a lot of information about what may or may not have happened, but we're still not sure what's real yet and what's not. We're following it. We want to make sure that justice is done here. Tell us, you know Ben Crump very well.
We are dear friends. We've been dear friends.
He's been a frequent guest on the show, but you've known him really well.
I've known him for over 30 years. And, we call him the Black Attorney General in the Black community. And I think what's spectacular about Ben is that he's just been fighting for social justice, civil rights for so long that when Ben Crump comes on the scene, eyeballs are there. And he raises the profile of cases that normally would just be, thrown to the wayside. I tell this story. I've written about it, but when I was at CNN and I was a correspondent there, it was fascinating to me because Ben Crump called me about a case of a kid who had iced tea and Skittles and was just trying to make it home in Florida. And his name was Trayvon Martin. And Ben could not get anyone to cover that case in the national media. And I went to CNN and they said, it's not a national case. Anderson Cooper saw it differently. Thank God, let me report on it. And that became, a seminal case, civil rights case. And I think that Ben is unique in that he knows how to use media to get information and sort of put a spotlight on particular cases. And sunlight is really the best disinfectant when it comes to criminal cases. if this is a criminal case. And so I'm really happy that he's a part of it. I think I said to you, I don't know if I've said it publicly, that my daughter Paloma is actually interning with Ben Crump at his law firm this summer. And something that he's done that is very smart is that he has a team of very young people, college students and law students, working on this case. And they are scouring social media and they are finding things that I don't think other people would be able to find. So he is very resourceful. He's a great attorney, but he's also a great strategist.
He also has an incredible track record. And
Well,
I think so.
Yeah, he does have an incredible track record.
I mean, so when he pays attention to a case, I think that's a signal for everyone that something deserves to be paid attention to.
Yes, and I think what's also interesting is the amount of access he has now, right? Because he appeared on a lot of morning shows. Friday morning, we unfortunately were dark on Friday, but he called me and they were going to come on our show. He also, Colin Kaepernick is paying for an independent autopsy.
I didn't know that.
Colin Kaepernick is paying for that. Tyler Perry is paying for Nolan's funeral. So when a Ben Crump gets involved, you also get resources from the Black community that you normally would not have. This family would normally not have. So I think we're going to learn a lot more about Nolan Wells. I think there's a lot of discrepancies. I don't know how much I can say because I have had conversations with Ben, but in my view, there are a lot of inconsistencies, especially around his Nolan's cell phone and cell phone records and social media profiles being erased. I will say one thing as a person that was in law enforcement, what I find extremely odd is that, and I don't know if this happened or not, but the 3 boys that he went on the boat with, any other investigation, I would think that those 3 boys would have been brought in to the police department, separated in different rooms, and they should be giving an account of what happened. I don't know that that's happened here. And that is shocking to me. That is police investigation 101. Seems to me that the police department in Mississippi immediately said that there does not appear to be foul play. They had to, Ben and his team, because Colin Kaepernick did pay for an independent autopsy, flew the body to Washington, D.C. because they didn't feel comfortable having the autopsy done in Mississippi. I think that says something about what's happening here. And it also says something that the boys did not give his parents Nolan's phone, even though they brought his phone back with them on the boat. That everyone who has a kid, and by the way, this is a parent's worst nightmare, right? Everyone who has a teenager or any child knows very well that kids don't get separated from their phones. And there's a video in which Nolan is saying, "Give me my phone." And so that is striking to me. I heard part of the interview, and I know I'm going long, so you can cut this, but I heard part of the interview where Nolan's mother has the Life 360, which is something you and I have discussed. We both have it with our kids. Gabriel tried to get off the Life 360. He's back on the Life 360. But what was interesting to me is she said, I was following the Life 360 and his phone was back on land and he wasn't. And they, following the Life 360, went to the phone to get the phone, and the phone was with one of the friends. That's very strange. So I think we're going to learn a lot more about what happened, and I just suspect it's just not good.
Yeah. So Nolan's parents appeared on Good Morning America on Friday, among other places, and with Ben Crump. And he was calling for a very thorough investigation. The viral video you're referring to, Wells's friend says the voice in the video is actually not his. We don't know. So we're finding out.
And that's the other thing. I mean, you know, investigations aren't linear. They don't go up and down. They go all the way around. And we're going to learn more and more. But I'm just happy that Ben is on the case. The Black Attorney General's on the case.
There you go.
I'm happy about that.
All right. Well, let's move on to something that's happy. And you just referenced that Paloma is interning for one of the greatest legal minds in the country.
She is. And she's an artist, but all of a sudden, she's kind of swinging around.
And then you posted some exciting news about Gabe, who's maybe following in Manny's footsteps. Tell us what happened.
Isn't that crazy? So, my son is a free spirit.
Yes.
Everybody knows him here at The View. He grew up around The View. And he was surfing in Costa Rica, getting his thoughts together.
Sure.
I was concerned. He graduated last year and he's surfing in Costa Rica. I didn't love it after he did some research at another school. And he just came up to us and said, I have something to show you. I went and he picked up my mother at her apartment, brought my mother in, asked when we would be home, and he's got his computer out. And he's like, I applied to Columbia University. And we're just sort of looking at him, wondering what this is about. And he explained that he had applied to the post-bac pre-med program at Columbia University, in which it's a 1-year program. You take all the requirements for medical school. You then take the MCATs, and then if you do well, you go to Columbia Medical School. And we were just really staring at the surfer because...
Never any inkling that this was on the agenda?
Didn't tell us a thing. And he presses the button, and it's like I see glitter and horns and happy hats, and it says, "Congratulations, you've been accepted."
Unbelievable.
Just unbelievable. And we said to him, this is it's difficult. You've got to take, I think it's like biology and physics and chemistry and biochemistry and labs. And he said it would be an easy lift. And I'm not surprised because he is a science geek and he's really good at it.
Yeah.
And really good at math and science.
Harvard graduate. It's not like he's starting from scratch here. But
and he was a business and psychology major, the business of health and wellness and psychology at Harvard. So he actually tested out of a lot of math classes.
Right.
Like the kid is good at that stuff. But I don't know where this came from, Brian. And he wants to be a functional medicine doctor and a biotech person.
Oh, well, you can do pretty well in biotech.
Yeah, that's what he said.
That's great.
And he came to it surfing and thinking.
All right, I think I need to go surfing.
I know. I think
well,
he's
congratulations.
Thank you.
This is fantastic.
I think he's going to do it. I've been concerned about him.
Yeah, sure. I always thought a little unnecessarily so, but you're a mother. That's what they do.
I just couldn't help myself. I was thinking, what's happening? And he was, in his defense, after doing some research at Yale, he also was teaching geometry to 4th graders in the South Bronx.
Okay, so.
And they loved him. We had someone in the audience, Miss White, who said that he was one of the favorite teachers, and they hoped that he came back.
Oh.
But I don't think he's going back because he's going to be studying.
On his way to med school. That's
yes.
At Columbia. I think he should be very proud again.
It's mind-blowing that he did this on his own.
Well, I had no doubt he was going to land on his feet in one way or the other. But
I was a little concerned.
Well, I think that's your job. Well, speaking of kids, so this story in the Wall Street Journal caught my eye, and I thought you might be able to relate to it a little bit. It's called "Moving Back Home Used to Be a Sign of Failure. Now it shows financial savvy." According to the article, nearly half of Americans under 30 are living with a parent as they navigate the high cost of living and housing. Would you support this in your house? I guess you kind of are.
It's happening now.
Yeah, it's happening now.
Yeah. When Gabriel was at Yale doing some research, he had a fellowship. So he had an apartment. And the apartment in New Haven was a 1-bedroom apartment. And I think it was like $2,300, which is the price of a mortgage in many places. It was very expensive. And the minute he was finished, he realized this is a lot of money, and he moved right back home.
No, sure.
And we were fine with it.
Right.
But that was the smart financial thing to do. A lot of his friends did get their own apartments, and there are 3 and 4 of them living together. And he just decided to live at home. And Paloma is an RA at college, so she's only home for the summer. But I suspect she will be moving home as well. It's just...
When did you move home? When did you move out, rather?
I moved out when I went to college.
Yeah, and never came back?
I did not.
Wow, yeah.
I did not, but it was affordable then, right? It was something that you could actually do. So I never went back home. No.
I went back home for, I think, 2 years. And then
Really?
I was working in the city.
Yeah.
And I was making, $500 a week. So there was no way I could afford to live anywhere around here. And then I've got a sublet after 2 years, and I moved out. I remember it still was $1,500, and I had my own apartment, which was a big deal.
I had my own apartment. I had a dive though. I had
a walk up.
I had a roach motel.
I had a Hell's Kitchen walk up. I might have had some roaches.
I was on
too.
the Lower East Side.
But
I had a lot of
proud.
roaches. I was
Yeah.
proud too. I had a studio apartment on the Lower East Side, and it was affordable.
It's impossible these days for
But
people to do
you
that.
cannot do that. You cannot do that now,
Right.
and it makes sense to me that kids should, if they can, if their parents have room. Think about parents that don't have enough room for their kids.
Of course. No, and
move
it's
back home.
as a parent now, I'm like, yeah, if they hang around a long time, that's great. I love the idea.
I love the idea.
In theory.
In theory, I will say, Gabriel being home, he eats a lot.
I didn't think about that.
He eats a lot.
Right.
And he wears a size 13 shoe and he leaves them the front door. So,
I'm still in that. I haven't gotten out of it.
I'm living with a big kid, 2 big kids actually, that, and their friends are in our houses, and
However,
they're big now too.
At the start of the season, all we talked about was your empty nest problems, and now
I know
the nest is full.
And it's full and very, very full.
I love it.
Very full.
All right. Well, so that I think that's what it's like to be in your 20s in 2026. I think.
Yes.
And we'll see. And it's a problem.
And all my friends that have kidults, because they're, they're toddlers with passports and driver's licenses, basically, until they're, I think, 30. Most of my friends' kids are living at home.
All right. Well, I think it's tough times.
It is.
Yeah.
I wonder if Gabriel's going into student housing, or if he's gonna live at home.
I mean, I bet he lives at home.
I think he lives at home.
Yeah, I think so too. All right. Well, even if he gets student housing, he'll probably spend most of his time at home.
I think so.
Yeah. Roommates are rough.
Yeah.
I
think he'll live at home.
All right. Thank you for joining me today, Sonny.
Thank you, Brian.
Tomorrow I'll be back with Joy Behar, always a crowd pleaser.
Yes.
And we'll see you then.
See you then.